to Duran, my first biological son. All I can do is apologize for the things that have been done. 7 years you have been on this earth, and I've been proud of you since birth. I'm blessed that you've always known my name, but you've also witnessed a lot of my shame. And for all the things you've seen, I accept the blame. I should have been there and to be your shield, and not that I didn't want to, but it doesn't matter how I feel. And all I can do is make sure I never yield, and do all I can to fulfill the Most High's will, and be the father that I wish that I had, so that you don't go through life being mad at the world. Life is hard for a Penrose man. I don't want you to be a runner. I want you to stand, with your head held high, even you don't understand, or when things don't go as planned. The Most High showed me your life before you were born, and all I'll be there to shape you to form. I pray that you will be the one to break this curse, and let me be the end of the worst of it. Learn from my mistakes. You are destined to succeed. It's already in you. The wisdom to use it is all you need. Our journey together has just begun. And so from the bottom of my heart to the depths of my soul, I love you, son. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. The King's Court is officially in session. It has been a great week. There's so many fantastic things that have been going on. Literally all week. Last night was crazy. Well, now I know I hit you up.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
And I haven't even told you everything.
You haven't told me hardly anything.
Just for everybody to know or whatnot. The frequency, 18, Can I Be the Man,
Yes.
Lady, me, all of us literally got shouted out and seen in over 3 million homes last night. Over 3 million. Over 3 million. Or not, the interview that I did with GMAP Productions aired last night in Chicago. Yeah, last night in Chicago. Great things on the horizon. Great things coming. I'm excited. I am super excited. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and say it while we're on air. I haven't told Queen yet. Queen yet. But got an interview today at 2 with one of the stations out at Fort Lauderdale in Florida. Right there by
I say let's go.
Right there.
We need the weather.
But that's not even the kicker.
Not even the kicker.
We got to go to Atlanta on the 16th of next month. We're going to be doing Atlanta Live.
Oh, we there.
Atlanta Live, or not the 16th of next
excited.
month. So I am
Humble. You're just so humble, King. You're such a humble. Mashallah. God is so good when He puts good people around you. Where were you else supposed to go? You're only supposed to go up from here. When you have something so important, dialogue that's so needed in our communities, and the willingness, to share your story, and to be honest, and to be open, and to bring your family to that, you deserve all of that success. I promise, and more. And God is going to give it to us, because that's the bottom line.
Thank you. Well, all I know is we one family.
We are.
Wherever I go, everybody goes.
I know that's right. He like, come on, lady, come on.
Let's go. So, for all those that might not know, to the left of me is the young prince. The young prince, my son, or not, love him to death. He don't even know why he here.
We all were kind of looking like, oh, we got a new guest.
He don't even know why he here. And I just told him, look, I need you on the show tomorrow. There's some stuff that I need people to understand, and we just gonna go from there. So I haven't talked to you about what it is we're gonna actually talk about or not, but what I am gonna say live on air is that regardless of how you might think it might make me feel, I want you to be 100% honest. Okay? I want you to be 100% honest. Because literally, this is not scripted. We I come up with the topic, and we just come in here and we start talking. Or not, so
I mean, that's a lot, King.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. So again, everybody, please respect the fact that King is literally opening up his family to all of us and sharing situations. That's strong.
So let me
That's
help
true.
y'all understand why. So part of the foundation of what it is that we've been talking about is the importance of fathers in the home. And Tuesday, after the show, after everything was done, I had a conversation with one of my 18 members' wives and whatnot. That was giving me
Their take on
their take on the book or whatnot. And of course, the topic that we have been talking about is basically multiple wives. So
it. That's everybody's
you know,
plate right now. I don't know what is it. Maybe the season? Is it because it's summer? Everybody's
look,
talking about it.
and I have been dealing with this for the last since 2017. Since 2017, I can try and walk away from those conversations or whatnot, and they always come back up one way or another. Sometimes it was me, but a lot of times it's other people or whatnot. So um, she was just giving me a lot of different solutions as to what can be done versus this, and I understand. I get it. For me, she was representative of a lot of wives that are actually out there that have been in successful marriages, long marriages, things of that particular nature, or not. It is a lot just in the discussion. We're not even asking anybody to do it. We're just talking about it.
We're just actually introducing a lot of people's mindsets to something new, just something that's not necessarily the norm, which we made it in America, because all over the world, let's remember, polygamy is practiced all over the world. It's only conversations we're bringing up in America because we've had a false interpretation of what independence is for men and women.
Yes.
And so this is what has happened. We've substituted a lot of it for how people feel. A lot of times there's not even no substance to it. It's just people feel, I feel that this is wrong. Okay, well, that's a new bill. Boom, it's wrong. You know what I mean? So all over the world, though, just to be fair, polygamy is practiced. It's done. It's been done for 1,500 years. Go back and learn your history, and you're going to see this is something that's been there because this is something that's inside of men, and sometimes it's inside of women. Not to share because women are made monogamous, men are made polygamous. You got to make that clear. Not all men, but like I said, the majority. Enough of them that you can say a lot of men.
Yeah.
But to act like this is something new or something, people are just afraid of the unknown, and women are afraid to be given any less than what we already take. King. So you have to understand, we get the short end of everything a lot, so we don't even want the short end of a man. And a lot of times because we have a misunderstanding of polygamy, that's what we think.
Yep.
So it's like I'm not sharing half on top of everything else. I pay all these. No. Let us put a productive or what is it like structured perspective, something different, and just tap in, So I just had to say that because I've had a lot of people like, lady, I know you're not on there saying that.
But seriously though, and on top of that, we here to change narratives at the same time. You know what I'm saying? There are women out there that are literally active in this type of relationship and that are going through it.
Oh.
That are going through it. So we need to change the narrative on some of these things so that we can help bring peace to them as well.
And guess what? Just because you don't practice it does not mean it's not happening. I know several families that the man has two wives. I am Muslim. This is common. And the United States is the only one that it's actually against the law. It's against the law to take care of women, but you can sleep with women continuously. You ain't got to do nothing for them. You can go get on food stamps and Medicaid. But then they talk about you when you do that. So you know what I mean? You see the cycle? You see the cycle?
Yeah.
They tell us it's wrong for men, to take on multiple women. Of course, in a situation where you're taken care of, provided for, and maintained. No, that's against the law. But you could sleep with all 20, 30, 40, 50. There actually is no accountability for a man sleeping with many women unless he rapes her. And then he might get a little probation. I'm just saying.
And that is it. Yeah. And for me, that is crazy.
Beyond
that is crazy. The question that we all should be asking ourselves is, why is it like that? What is so important about the family structure that
they want to break it down?
Exactly. Exactly. So, like I said, I understood everything it was that she was saying in the conversation, but what it made me feel like is that our roles as mothers, our roles as fathers was just simply unimportant as long as there was someone else there to be able to impart just little seeds here and there. And for me, that's unacceptable because that's almost like saying that we wouldn't be who we are without struggle. And I just refuse to believe that. You know, no matter what it is or who it is that you actually believe in as far as higher power, majority of us look at that higher power as being our father or our mother. None of us as parents want to see our children struggle. So why would we think that what was imparted into us as parents, our heavenly father, or however you want to look at it, would deem it okay for us to have to go through this struggle? We struggle because we choose to, because of the choices that we make. That is it. So if there are ways out there to make it where we don't have to go through. I'm not saying everything, because it's always going to be something. We're always going to have a battle. But if we can take a detour to prevent a battle, why wouldn't we?
And we can take a detour to produce productive kids in our communities. Yes. How about that? If we put a battle to produce productive women in our community, yes. Why not that? Productive businesses, productive way of thinking about things. And again, like I said, polygamy is not for everybody. This is not what this is for. This is trying to figure out different methods that we can go in our communities and we can solve our own problems because nobody cares. Listen to me. I'm sorry, King. Listen. If we don't figure out how to handle our issues in our communities, I'm talking about the brown and the blacks and even the Chinese, but they don't really need help. They pass one law. They get mad one day and they got a new law. So we don't get that option. Us brown and black people, the Mexicans and African Americans, we don't get that option. So we got to fight within ourselves and struggle within ourselves. But we got the strength for it. Our ancestors, you understand?
Yep.
Our ancestors.
Yep.
So we pull from each other, but we bring a different concept, and then we start to grow from that. You know, have these conversations. That's it. That's all this is, huh? Everybody's so riled up. We're just talking about it.
That is it.
But you know what? It hits a lot of cores because, again, like you said, you got to bring up a lot of issues within yourself, with your son, with your wife, with the new wife coming, with family. So it's like it's gonna be a mess before it gets good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to literally break down all of those elephants in the rooms, snatch out all of those skeletons that's in the closet or whatnot to make space for the new.
For something new.
And better.
Yeah.
And better.
And you know what, King? I'm gonna have to fight you on this because my heart is saying no, no, no. But logically my mind is saying you already know, girl, stop playing. You've been through this already, you know already. But my heart again is saying no, no, no. But God made all of that for a reason. Everything has its proper time.
Exactly.
And so your heart's supposed to be saying no, 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 ladies. Because if your heart was saying yes, 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 you really probably don't love them. So, you know what I mean? For those men and women that be like, go ahead and have a three. Come on, we can bring other people. You know, there's not a lot of love there. Y'all better be careful. I'm telling you, because a real woman and a real man together, they're not going to want other people with their partners. That's just FYI off to the side. I don't care how freaky, how DD, all that stuff people are. That's not a normal behavior for people. Just to, come on, everybody sleep with each other. That's not normal for us, brown and black people. With the high rate of diseases right now going on in the world, the high rate of sicknesses going on in the world, that's not even an attitude we can afford to adopt. But this is what's been pushed on us, King.
We don't even see that in nature.
We don't even see it in nature.
At all, but we out here wilding and stuff, for real. But my son's sitting over here patiently and quiet trying to figure out what in the world is going on. What did I get myself into? So I assure you, it ain't gonna be anything questioning. Big shout out to everybody that's on right now. We are lit up early in the morning.
We are, guys.
I see Ateam is in the building all together, encouraging all men. I even got my mama on.
Well, you better act right, King. I'm acting right.
What up, Rika, Miss Yolanda,
Yes.
Or not, thank you everybody for
I
tuning
love your
in.
mother. I met her when she came out.
Yeah.
So peace and blessings, Queen. And to your daughters, I love them too. Your one daughter, sister I met.
Hmm.
She was, I mean, vibes are great. So peace and blessings and thanks for
Yeah.
joining us.
Hey, look, but before we go any further, I need everybody under the sound of my voice to like, share, and follow the Frequency CO. Please like, share, and follow the Frequency CO. Or not, we have to go and pay a few bills. But before then, hey, look, if you at work, I need you to go into your office,
Get ready.
shut the door. Let's get ready to get into this conversation. And if you don't have an office by chance, go ahead, put them ear pods into your ear, turn this on, slide that phone somewhere or whatnot so it won't be seen. And let's get ready to get into the conversation. If you're at home with the kiddos, hey, look, I know everybody's out of school now. Get them older kids, the hold them kids.
But you know what I was thinking? This is something just, if you guys might want to do this, I think I'm going to open up the studio so people can walk in during podcasting. So if we got people that might want to join us to sit in the audience to kind of go back and forth with us, we're going to offer that if you wanted to.
I have no
I think
issue
that's
with
a
it.
great,
I have no issue
yeah,
with
so
it
we might open up our
whatsoever.
studios on Tuesdays and
Whatsoever.
Thursdays to anybody that wants to come and maybe be a part of our conversation, because now that it's really getting out there and we 3 million viewers, that's pretty cool. Thanks, Kay. Now that we're really getting out there though, we really have to focus.
Yeah, we do.
Focus on our
We do.
community and what we were doing. So
We do.
that might be a
We
good
definitely do. We
Yep.
definitely do. But like I said, we gotta go pay some bills real quick. We're gonna be back. I say probably about 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Take a break, and then y'all would actually get to hear from the young prince, Deron. You don't like me saying that?
He said, I don't have a problem being called king.
Hey,
Stop.
hey,
I mean, prince. But he know he about to be a king soon.
He get his seriousness from me. I'm just gonna
Oh,
tell you that now.
goodness. He
That's the
hasn't
reason
cracked
why
a
his
smile
face
since.
look the way it does or whatnot. He get that from me, seriously. But we gonna get into it, and quite frankly, he's been reading the book, so I'm interested to see what his thoughts or whatnot from the younger generation, what their thoughts are on this. So
Nice.
we gonna go ahead, go pay some bills. The king has spoken. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
And we are back. We officially are bringing in the King's Court into session. Of course, I have the queen of the building to my right, and I got the young prince, my son Deron, to my left. I feel good. I feel good. So, for those of y'all that are just tuning in or might have missed the previous show, the conversation that we have been having is a need for multiple wives. We started out in the last conversation trying to build a foundation as to why this is a necessity within our communities, within our cultures, really. It is something that is practiced outside of where we actually live nowadays, but we just want to show the need and the importance behind it. Now, I know everybody out there is trying to figure out why in the world does he have his son on this podcast with him having this discussion. Because there are a few things that we need to understand in reference to the importance of having a father in the home. Now, before we literally deep dive into everything, again, I need everybody to go like, share, and follow. Like, share, and follow the Frequency CO. I got to give a shout out to the queen of the building. I got to give a shout out to 420. Without him, I wouldn't be on the air right now. So, definitely appreciate everybody that's out there, everybody watching, everybody listening. So, young prince, first question that I want to ask you is this right here. I know you haven't finished the book just yet. And for those of y'all that don't know what book we're talking about, it's the one that is sitting right here. Can I Be the Man? A letter from us to you, or not. I know how I felt, when he came to me and told me, hey, Dad, I bought the book. I know how I felt, when he told me that or whatnot. But I would like to know, even though you haven't finished it yet, what are your thoughts on the book so far?
it's a good book. It's some stuff in there that I don't know, but I feel like it's part of the reason why I should have been out here living with you ahead of time.
Okay. Okay. I want y'all to hear what it is he said, and I need you, that last piece, put that into the back of your mind right now, okay? If you could pull anything, it doesn't matter what it is, right? What is it, that one thing in the book that stood out the most to you? It could be a chapter, it could be a saying, whatever, it doesn't matter.
I think I forgot the name, but it was the second chapter of the book.
I'm not Prince Charming.
Yeah.
Not Prince Charming. Good, because I need you to learn that early. Don't be out here jumping through hoops and trying to fulfill a fantasy or whatnot. I don't need that happening. All right. There you go. There's your phone right there. Look, though. So, part of the reason, matter of fact, let's get this out of the way. Have we had a discussion about why you're going to be here?
No.
Okay, I just want everybody to know. Or not. So everything that we're about to discuss right now is going to be free flowing. And I'm going to tell you again, in the midst of this discussion, no matter how you think that I might feel, I want you to be 100% honest in what it is that we're actually talking about, okay? So one of the points that I've been trying to push out there is the importance of fathers being active within the home. And unfortunately, I have children and that didn't have the opportunity to have me within their lives actively consistent. They've always known me or not, I've always been around, things of that particular nature, but they didn't have the pleasure of being able to see me every day coming home.
And King, I think this is important when you say around. See, because what men will do is this: hey, I was around. There's a way difference than being present and being around.
Yes.
So a lot of you men get skirt around the fact, and this is not about making you uncomfortable or doing this to you. Because I love y'all. So it's not about that. But it is about looking at the conversation and trying to change it, right?
Yeah.
So that around thing that men do, like, yeah, I was around. No. Were you present? You know what I'm saying?
There's a big difference.
Big difference. Big difference.
Let me walk y'all through. So, when he was younger, we lived in the same state. Or not, I pretty much had him on the weekends, holidays, or some holidays, and things of that particular nature, which is very common. You have a lot of us out there that are active in our kids' lives, but we're only active on the weekend. We're only active during the summers.
Or when you feel guilty.
Exactly. Exactly. But his mom being in the military, or not, she ended up having to move, which made it to where literally we were in separate states. So the only time that I could actually get him was in the summer. Now me, I was on the move as well. I ended up going overseas. And I was back and forth overseas for about 8 years.
Wow.
And it was a lot. So recently, and my sister Takara is in the chat right now.
I see her saying my nephew's handsome. I know that's right.
But my sister Takara, she sent you, your auntie, she sent you a picture. And in that picture, it captured myself, my son's mom, and his 2 older siblings, and him as a baby. He was about 2 years old, about to be 2, when we actually divorced. So let me ask you this first question. Do you have any memory of all of us being together? You gotta speak.
Oh, no. I don't.
All right, so that picture, in essence, was the first time you actually seeing us together and being able to see some type of family environment in reference to me and your mom, right?
Yes.
How did you feel looking at that picture? Be honest.
Kind of just felt like what it would have been like if y'all was still together. And we was like a whole family.
Okay.
Kind of like shocked me seeing that was my first time seeing all of us together in the picture.
Yeah. How old are you?
17.
17. And so literally in 17 years, that was the first time that you actually seen us all together as one.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Y'all gotta excuse me as well too, because I feel I can already feel that
The
I'm about to
energy.
be emotional.
And
Right
I'm
now,
jumping
so-
in. I'm jumping in. I have to. This is the energy that's coming right now that I think King is wanting to express to everybody is a lot. It's sorrow. It's happiness. It's going to new ventures because you're like, we're evolving. In order for you to come and speak like this, you know what I'm saying? So, all those emotions are real and we're here for them. So, because I'm going to be crying too. So, FYI, I'm going to be crying as well.
So, I'm gonna give you the floor. I'm gonna give you the floor. I'm gonna ask you this question. I just want you to lay it all out there, okay? What was it like not having me in the home the way that you have me now?
Well, when I was younger, I didn't really pay attention to it so much because there was Calvin, and it was just all of us. It was all bonding and having fun. I mean, that's a kid life. But then as I got older, I started to like catch a feeling of like why he wasn't around, or like a reason like that was why I never picked up the phone. I just felt weird talking to you. So like I always go say, oh, I have to do something, or I'm just playing with my friends or something like that. It just felt kind of awkward. Even with visiting, it just didn't feel right. Like, it didn't feel like home.
Was it hard with your friends? Like when your friends, did they have fathers in the present, or did you feel like you were always missing something? And I'm only asking because I've been without my father for about 20, I found him after 27 years. So I understand the abandonment feeling, the abandonment issues for women, for myself, but for men, I don't. So I'm asking, like, did you feel that? Because a lot of times as women, we feel that abandonment. Our friends have dads, you know what I mean, to comfort them and hug them when they fall and scrape, because we're women with feelings and emotions. But as men, you all deal a lot with your logic. Did you just put it in a box and be like, I'll deal with it later, or?
Yeah. It was just like my mom. She always asked me like a question, like, do I want to go live with him? But like I know, like
Because you didn't know him.
I had a job, I didn't know him. I was having fun, and
Yeah.
I had track. I was just living life as a kid. But then I say around like 12, 13, something just didn't feel right. Like, just felt like I had to know him, and he had to be in my life. But then again, I didn't want to leave home.
Now, this is a personal question. And I don't know, so this is just me asking. I have two sons that I'm single, so this is important to me. At 13, everything was changing with you mentally, physically, emotionally, right? So that's when you started realizing, like, my dad's not here. I need there's things going on with me physically, mentally, emotionally, and your mom just couldn't help you. You felt like that?
Yes.
Now, what I need people to understand is he had a stepfather in the home.
It's just different.
He had a stepfather in the home, and that's nothing against stepfathers. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate his stepfather at the time for literally being there, so that there could be a man around or whatnot that he can actually look at, someone for him to see loving his mom and things of that particular nature, to show him respect and all
And
that
then
other
his
good
mother,
stuff.
hopefully
Yeah.
he treated
Yeah.
his mother well. He learned from
Mhm.
other men. But the issue is not the people that God put around to help you with the struggle of this, but the issue was that you, as so important, Like, I don't think our men realize how important you all are.
Your presence. I say it all the time.
We don't.
I say it all the time. Your presence is something else within itself. Now, I gotta keep it 100. And I'm gonna tell you this. And the relationship between me and your mom was great. It was great. The issue was, the reason why we didn't survive is because we was young.
No guidance, no role models, no probably people in front of you encouraging you to survive.
All the wisdom and knowledge that I have now, I did not.
Yeah, what I do then now, right?
I literally, when me and your mom got together, I was 16. She was about to be 19. She was about to be 19. For those of y'all out there watching and listening, right, do not look crazy, because you have to understand, I wasn't your average 16-year-old, or not. They always call me mannish.
I was gonna say, they can look at you, tell. Now you're like an old soul, King. I said that since the moment I met him. He's an old soul.
Yeah, 16. We talking about I had my own apartment. I was working. And matter of fact, that's how we met. If you don't know how me and your mom met, we met at McDonald's. She was my manager. And look, I put this wasn't back during this wasn't during these days where it was easy to start a relationship with a woman. I had to put in work.
You mean you just couldn't send a hey, what's up, and then she was at your house at 3 a.m?
I
Yeah.
had to put in work.
That means she was worth
to
it.
be with your mom.
That's right.
And I cherished that. Our relationship to start out with, like I said, it was great. But as we both begin to get older and whatnot, and this is for everybody out there in relationships, one of the hardest things to do is to be able to grow together. Because the same person that I was at 16, I wasn't that person at 18, and I definitely wasn't that person at 23, 24.
But at 27, you wasn't that person. 30.
No, I was growing, I was evolving, and it was the exact same thing with your mom. The only thing was, during that particular time, we were immature, we were doing things that we shouldn't have done. And it's no different than what I told you yesterday. When you looked at that picture, I was literally 20, 22, 23, which is like 5 years from where you're at right now. And what did I ask you? How would you feel having a family that big at the age of 22?
Couldn't imagine.
Couldn't imagine at all. We were literally 3 kids, whole family, married the whole nine. And I'm not trying to give any excuses. Not trying to give any excuses. I believe that if I would have been the person that I am now, that we would have survived. We would have survived.
That's fair. That's really fair.
But the reality of it is we didn't. We didn't. And I'm going to do this right here and now because a lot of the relationship that you did see between me and your mom was toxic. It was toxic. We did a lot of arguing. We did a lot of fussing. And I know you was privy to a lot of that. You was privy. It shouldn't have been that way, but the reality of it is you were. And so for that, I do apologize. I do apologize for the fact that what you seen between me and your mom was toxic, and that you didn't get an opportunity to see me literally loving her. I apologize for that. But what I need everyone to understand is that this piece of it is important. It is important. All right?
I think, and I just want to add this, the dynamics of being a man and us talking about can I be the man is just so important. And then you have, on top of you and her being, like you admitted, toxic, you had around that time, you had elements coming into our community as well.
Mm-hmm.
We had dope being pushed, we had crack being introduced, we had food stamps, medicated housing where it's cheaper to leave them and get on your own stuff and be your own person. All that is games, but that all played a part in the breakdown of the brown and black family on purpose. So, King, in all fairness, at 16, 17, 18, 19, when we all did get married, some of us did get married young and decided we were having kids in wedlock instead of out of wedlock, made those choices. You have a lot of, you went into it already had things against you.
Mm-hmm.
And now they tell you if you're born from a certain area code, you already have postpartum stress disorder. You actually qualify. So imagine back in the 80s, 90s, yeah, 80s, 90s, when everything was being pushed in our communities, drugs, dope, alcohol, everything, pornography, everything sick was being pushed in our communities. You had us trying to build healthy relationships with each other.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
wow, man, we are really trying to figure this out from the ground. We're getting what we're doing from the mud. We don't have organizations that's willing to just come out and help the brown and black people fill ourselves and complete ourselves. We don't have those type of opportunities. I haven't seen any, and if I'm wrong, please introduce yourselves to us, because we want to kind of join the mission, but this is a new category, so
Yeah.
just,
So it's something else that I want to ask you, okay? And I want you, of course, keep it 100 with me, keep it 100 with everyone. Those times where you were able to come out here, spend summer, few weeks, or whatnot, with me, how did you feel knowing that the relationship or everything that it was that I was given to your siblings on a regular basis? How did that make you feel?
Some jealousy there, but I mean I couldn't complain because I never wanted to come out here. So I felt if I'd been out here a lot longer, I would have felt the same.
And quite frankly, none of that is your fault. Is your fault. And again, I appreciate you for doing this because I blindsided you with this. I really did. Well, I only did that so that this would literally be genuine. So in essence, it caused a rift between you and your siblings.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now that, before we even get into that, all right, when the time actually came for you to come and live with me permanently, how was that transition for you?
It was unexpected. I didn't know how to be a big brother at the time. I was used to being the youngest and just taking care of my older sister, Raji.
Okay. Okay, and once you actually got there, and you was literally in the thick of things or whatnot, because just for everybody to understand, this is my youngest son with his mother, all right? But he is the oldest out of all of his other siblings, all of my other children, all right? So when he came to come live with me, he went from being the youngest to the oldest, which it's a big transition. Or now you go from being a baby boy, being spoiled, getting everything it is that you want, to now I'm the oldest. I have all this responsibility and stuff on my shoulders, and never had to experience it. So, how would you say the relationship was with you and your siblings once you actually got here?
It felt like a weird start. Like none of them was comfortable with me, and I kind of wasn't comfortable with them. I say the first person that I actually started getting a good relationship with was Snook.
Snook. Okay. Okay. Now I can see that too. I can definitely see that. But even the transition between me and you, I know from my end, it was difficult. It was difficult because the expectations was that I was going to be this tough. I'm going to go upside your head every time you do something wrong, type individual. So, how was the transition from seeing me on basically during summers to having to see me every day? How was that transition?
Felt like a weird feeling. Like living with you every day it reminded me about home. Cause when I first left, my mom told me, "Don't think it's gonna be the same how it was out there with her, cause it's not." But I didn't kind of take that into consideration.
get it. I get it. And it was definitely a bumpy ride. That much I will say. It was a bumpy ride for me, and I'm pretty sure it was a bumpy ride for you as well. You know, not because, like I said, you was accustomed to how things ran in your mom's home, so now you had to get accustomed to how things ran into my home, in my home. Um, but let me ask you this: are you happy that you're with me now?
Yes.
Okay. But and that's not nothing against your mom or anything of that particular nature, because I know how much you's a mama boy or whatnot. I'm just glad that that we have the relationship and stuff that we have now. You know, and I'm gonna say this in front of everybody. I need y'all to understand that I'm like super proud of you. I really am, because the amount of adversity that you have overcome in your life. You know, we're not gonna put it all out there or whatnot, but you and I both know the amount of adversity that you have overcome in life, and to start developing into the man that you are becoming now. I'm proud of you. I really am. And um, a lot of people like to say that we wouldn't want to trade this moment for anything, but the reality of it is that I would. I would, because I look at you now and what you have developed into, based off of the little bit of time that our relationship has been. But I can only imagine who you would be at this age had you been able to see me function and operate with your mom and happy in the home throughout these 17 years that you've been on this. Matter of fact, let me ask you that. How do you think you're with, and you're the only one that can really answer this, because you know what it's like to live in your mom's home, and you also know what it's like to live in my home. If you put those two things together, and you see how it is that I function and operate now, you see how it is your mom function and operate in a non-toxic environment, if we would have still been together, how do you think your life would have been?
Perfect. Yeah.
Perfect.
I've probably been going to the Olympics by now for track. I still would have my, well, my a nice job that I had. I was probably still would have had that, more responsibilities and like, having fun still.
Okay. Okay. That's what's up.
Can I just say something, King? I just want to shout this out too. We need more backpacks for anybody. We get food out all the time. That's because somebody was knocking, so we need more backpacks. But I'm coming from a woman's point of view of not having my father around for 27 years, right? And when you said, and it hit my heart, because I just went through this with my Aunt Nina this morning, and I was telling her, you know, I didn't have the support as my sisters and brothers did with my father, because I was left at two. My mom took me. Him and her, my mother and my father never got along, so I never really saw him at all. So I never dealt with that side of my family, and I can tell with it myself, because I have a lot of deficiencies that come from an abandonment issues and no father in the home. When you said the part about your siblings, about feeling jealous, I'm grown. So I understand that. I was today feeling that way. So I respect that and that honesty, because, like I said, I'm 40-some years old and I'm still going through those issues because they're still with my dad. And I'm not, obviously. But are those, are because of that, because of your father not being there, do you have strained ties with your other siblings? Do you think? And I'm just asking that from a personal.
Yes.
Me too. Right.
So it's one more thing that I want to.
I'm sorry, King. I just feel him so much. I understand.
You're good. There's one more thing that I want to bring up, and I'm only bringing it up because we had this discussion the other day, and I think all of your siblings, no, not all, your older siblings are the same way, but your younger siblings are different. And you know, within my household, whatnot, I don't look at half anything. You know what I'm saying? We all one family, but the reality of it is that you don't have any whole siblings. How does that make you feel?
Kind of weird.
Kind of weird.
Like, I'm not gonna say it's not an uncomfortable feeling, but I never thought of it that way. Like, they wanted to know, I thought they were whole siblings.
Okay. Does it impact the relationship that you have with your siblings?
Now with the knowledge, no, they won't, yes.
What about your younger siblings?
Kind of.
Kind of. Okay.
Can I ask you something? Do you think, and I'm just definitely gonna start calling you Prince, because you standing up to that title, boy. You standing up and you holding yours, so we appreciate that and your honesty. Do you think that the jealousy stems from just the lack of love you felt like was there? Or was it the him being there in the home, like you can't pinpoint it?
Probably not. I'll probably say like I won't say like the lack of love, cause like now I realize how many years he was fighting to get me there, but I just kept denying it. So it's probably really like pinned down.
And when you say you denied it, do you deny it within yourself? Or are you just saying he don't want me, he's not coming for me? Like when you say deny, what do you mean?
Like I didn't want to be there. Like I didn't see like the point of view that he was coming from. I just knew that I felt like I was home. I didn't want to leave all my friends and family that I had, like the bonds with them. So it's just something I didn't want to leave.
Alright. So, I ain't gonna hold you too much longer, but I do want to give you the floor one more time. And if there is anything that you could say to parents out there that feel like their relationship with their children is insignificant or not necessary, as well as to the kids that have been or are going through what it is that you're going through, what would you tell them right now?
Love your parents equally and spend as much time as you can with them, because there's a lot of kids out here without parents or parents who don't want their kids.
Can I ask you something, Prince? You know, with your dad taking this journey of healing, right, and trying to heal his families and repair everything that he feels like, you know, he didn't do perfect, are you finding yourself being healed? Do you have any methods? Because that's what we're really trying to do here. We're trying to go and figure out, we have these problems in our communities. You're saying the same thing I am. And that's crazy that your story is so much like mine. And I wouldn't have even known that. And I'm a girl, I'm a woman. So I feel like breaking down now, because you've hit so many points of how I felt abandoned, lonely, by myself and all of that. What mechanisms, do you use boxing? What mechanisms do you use to start to try to heal you? Like what you're feeling? Or do you try to build a better relationship with your dad? Like if you have a 17-year-old right now and they're saying, but what do I do? Do I get closer to my dad? Do I get better in sports? Do I, you know what I mean? Do I talk about these feelings? Do you just share them?
From now and then, it's gone better with our bond. I still have some like insecurities when talking to him about like just almost everything, which I'm trying to work on. But like when I think about stuff like that, I'll just go run. Like let's play music, go run, try to keep it off my mind for then, and then like don't frustrate myself too much without it. But I think our biggest bond is sports.
So you're what you do is you're kind of encouraging everybody. Find something that you're in common with, like one of your parents. and then trying to draw off that when you're starting, like how we all have to start, because this is a relationship I have to build with my father as well. I'm grown too. So at least you're 17, and the thing about it is it's time for us parents to take responsibility, because it's not your fault. You didn't do any of this. You understand? So for you to carry a lot of this weight, that's not fair. And he takes that, and I have to take that for my children, because I'm a single parent home. You understand? I'm pretty much what you're talking about. So just to put in perspective, you're saying try to find something like you're in common with your father, your mother for, and just kind of go from there.
Yes.
That is it. All right.
That's a lot. I'm about to get off this and cry, FYI. So if I come back and makeup's down here, Prince did his job over here to the left of us. He did it. So
we gotta pay some bills. Again, I want to thank you, young Prince, my son. I love you. I appreciate you.
So much respect.
Again, proud of the man that you are becoming, and I look forward to our continued journey or whatnot, because I ain't going nowhere.
I know that's right.
I ain't going nowhere whatsoever, or whatnot, and we're gonna continue to build. We're gonna continue to build, but we gotta go pay some bills. Now we'll be back probably in about 5 minutes to keep the conversation
Tapping 5
going.
minutes.
The king has spoken. We'll be back. 3, 2, and we are back. The King's Court is officially back in session. As you can see, it's just me here now. We're letting everybody. We got to bring some good energy back into this thing. It was just. I apologize, but we said 5 minutes, and we had a whole emotional moment over here, or whatnot, and we still trying to get it together. But it is my hope that in bearing myself in this manner, that everyone will truly understand the foundation of what it is that we're trying to build in this conversation. Fathers are needed. When I say there needs to be a father in every home, that is literally what it is that I mean. I'm not saying this because this is how I feel. I'm saying this because this is what it is that I know. Everything it is that we just talked about with my son, these are things that I went through myself. And this is just one portion of the spectrum. One portion of the spectrum. I was literally overhearing a conversation with, and that my wife was having with, I don't know who it was, but she was talking in reference to my daughters and the impact that their father not being in their life has had on them. And the discussion that she had was that there has been no impact. Why? Because they don't even remember him. But the reason why there has been no impact, because they always had me. Which is the reason why I take issue, with these underdeveloped men out here that call stepfathers simps. You have no clue the impact that an active stepfather can have in a child's life whatsoever. And quite frankly, for the ones out there that are saying it, had your father or stepfather or some man out there to show you the importance of having that masculine energy in your life, maybe, just maybe, you wouldn't be out here calling men that are loving children that are not their own as their own simps. I ask myself on a regular basis, what happened in your life that has you feeling this way? Yes, our children are an investment. And our children, quite frankly, are the best investment that we can ever make. I don't care how much money you made on the stock market. Your children are the best investment in your life that you can literally make. Because guess what? Although that money that you have can pay for a nurse, can pay for a home, when you actually get older, go watch some of these documentaries to see what happened to some of these people and that are actually put into these homes. Nobody is going to love and care for you like your own. So to have the ability to have children, love them, and get it to the point that when you are old and gray, they still want to actually be around you and help take care of you and impart the love into you that you imparted into them when they needed you in that moment when they were babies. Now understand the topic that it is that we have been talking about in reference for the need for multiple wives. It is a sensitive conversation. But quite frankly, this is something that I think about on a regular basis. If this was something that was normal to our culture, how different the lives of my children would be right now. If my son had the ability to see the 17 years that he's been on this earth, and his siblings as well, to see me being able to love on his mom, work through our issues and everything else, and do the exact same thing with my daughter's mom and my children that are at home, my wife. And the thing about it is, I have enough love in myself to be to pass around to everyone. It is limitless. It is limitless. I can only imagine how he would feel to be able to see me treat his mother the same way that I treat my wife now. The energy that I spent, the time that I spent arguing, going back and forth, all the toxic that was going on for all those years that he was privy to and his siblings was privy to, if we would have eliminated the toxicness and replaced it with love and respect. And I know there's people out there saying right now, well, you have good situations where there are people out here co-parenting and co-parenting well. I take nothing away from that. But the reality of it is, there is still a difference. There is still a difference. There's a completely different energy to it when you have two families that are able to come together and actually function and operate together, right? Peacefully, versus when you have one family that comes together and you see that love given across the board equally. Across the board equally. And I get it. I understand it. This is not an easy thing to wrap around our minds. It's just not. But the necessity from it, literally, for me, it's crazy that saying that there needs to be a father in every home is not enough to understand what it is that we're actually talking about. Just want y'all to think about that. Has our role as fathers been diminished so much that just making that statement is not enough? The problem that we have is that we do have some successful people out here that grew up without their fathers. But that success doesn't take away the emptiness. That success doesn't take away what that child would have been if that father would have been there. That success doesn't take away the toxic nature of the relationship that they have between themselves and their father or their mother. From a biblical standpoint, orphans were supposed to be those children that lost their family to death. To death. Not lost their family to drugs, not lost their family into the parents just simply not being able to get together and get their stuff together and be able to live a happy life. And then what it is that we leave our children privy to. Do you understand what goes on in these homes? The molestation, the rape, the violence. If you've never been in a shelter before, to see exactly what goes on in these areas with these things. I'm talking about behind closed doors. I remember it. I was there. I literally, at the age of 12, 13, tried to take my life in the shelter. Behind the nonsense that was actually going on in that particular place. The group homes, the boys' homes. Yes, all these things are good. They are good. They provide shelter, food, and things of that particular nature. But do you know what is going on behind those closed doors with all that toxic nature, all those emotions that's going on with those abandoned children? But the issue is, as long as it doesn't affect my household, it's not my problem. As long as it does not affect my household, it is not my problem. Which is the complete opposite of what community is. Complete opposite. But the thing about it is, it does impact and affect your household. Because those same kids that we are saying that as long as we have some type of positivity in them are those same kids that could potentially take your child's life. But that reality of it is will not hit home until something of that nature actually happens. What I am saying is let's hit the core and make it where that possibility is not even there. Because if our children grow up in two-parent homes with active fathers and active mothers, that very thing that it is that they're screaming out for, that very thing that even some of us as adults are still looking for. You can play the role based off the conversation that it is that we're having, that is not important. But I know people 30, 40, 50, 60 years old that are still looking for acceptance from their parents. I got friends right now that's still looking for an apology from their parents because of the things that they actually went through. You know what I tell them? Your parents or who they are. We have to accept them for who they are. Literally. But we have the unique opportunity in our hands before us right now to make some significant change. Significant change. And it starts with the relationship between men and women. Our duality. Our duality is the key. It is the key. Everybody out there under the sound of my voice know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. Because you have some of us that did grow up in two-parent homes and still have issues that need to be addressed. Because just because you grew up in a two-parent home, that doesn't mean that that parent wasn't absent. They might have been there physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, they were absent. Those are pieces that we need. The vast majority of us, to include myself, are underdeveloped. And again, that is nothing to take away from any parent or any single parent that is out there. What I am saying is, and that you can only function and operate with the tools that you have. It's no different than sitting down and playing a game of spades. You can only function and operate with the hand that you are actually dealt. With the hand that you are dealt. That is it. So, in laying the foundation for the importance of multiple wives, this is one of the first things that we have to look at. The covering. The covering that we as men are supposed to provide. To our wives, to our children. That's where it starts. Because if we can't provide covering to those within our household, how can we provide covering to those in our community? You see it all of the time. Ladies, you fuss about it all the time. Literally. I have actually seen it. Where you see a female being assaulted by the police or something of that particular nature, and you have all these men that are around her just standing there and watching. Just standing there and watching. Then in the comments, you hear all of this nonsense that is actually said about the men that are standing there and watching. But if we can't cover our own homes, how can we cover the community? And if that woman had her own covering, a lot of the things that we see, we wouldn't see. We have to get to the core of the issues. We have to. And my apologies to everybody that's in the comments. The comments have been lit up. Haven't had a chance to actually go in and read any of this stuff or not, but I definitely see it. I appreciate everybody that is actually in there. I know that this conversation is it's a big pill to swallow. And again, this is not something that we are saying that you have to do, but at the very least, let's get an understanding of it. So that those people that are willing or have a desire to do these things, they can do it in peace. In peace. literally, because it is a necessity. I'm not sitting back saying that it is the salvation of our communities, because it's going to require way more than just multiple wives for that. That is not what it is that I'm saying. But what I am saying, that it is one of the pieces on the road to us healing as a culture, to us building as a culture. It is definitely one of the pieces. And trust and believe, I understand exactly how everybody out there actually feels, because I was going through it. I told a lady the other day, we had this conversation before 2017, and you would have gotten a very different viewpoint from me. And it was a very humbling experience, because I talked to people in reference to it, about it, and I literally had to go back and apologize, like, hey King, I'm sorry, man. I mean, I knew and I understood that there was nothing actually wrong with it, but I did not fully understand the type of impact that it could potentially have within our communities. It's a hard thing, hard pill to swallow. And the thing about it is, we have been conditioned to be different in so many different ways that it makes it even harder. All we know is monogamy. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you, this conversation has become so adamant now that I've seen slogans in reference to forced monogamy. I'm like, what in the world? I never heard of that before. I never heard of that before. But the reality of it is that you have some of us men that are tailor-made for monogamy, and you have others that are literally made to have multiple wives. Harsh reality, but it is a part of reality. It is. We were built this way. We didn't ask for it. It's just what it is. All I'm saying is that versus having those men out there running from home to home, dropping babies all over town, all over the country, let's dial it back, reel it in, and put the responsibility that's supposed to be with it there. And quite frankly, ladies, it starts with you. It starts with you. Because as long as a joker can have a blunt and $40 and you go ahead and spread those legs, it's not going to change. Hate to say it that way, but that's the reality of it. But when you close them, you lock them up, and the requirement is to be a wife, guess what? We will meet your requirement. Either we're going to leave you alone, or we're going to meet your requirement. And I'm not just talking about going down to Vegas and jumping a doggone broom just because. I'm talking about the same effort that I had to put in to get my wife. That is the same requirement that you give in order for him to make you his wife. And fellas, I know y'all out there mad at me right now, but the reality of it is, I said it before, we become lazy. Not using our minds the way that we actually could. Because we have the ability to do it. It's just because the requirement is not there, we just simply don't. And this is the beauty of the duality of our relationship. Because there are certain things, ladies, that y'all dictate, and there are certain things that we dictate. So in essence, what I am saying is raise the standard. Raise the standard. You have all of these superficial standards. He has to be 6 foot, he has to make this amount of money. He has to be driving this type of car. All of these superficial standards. Let's bring in some standards that have substance. And this is on both ends. Because as you raise your standard, guess what we're going to do? We're going to raise our standard. Because guess what? Don't nobody, no men rather, want to make you our wife when you don't have respect for yourself. That's how I'm gonna put it. So as you raise the standard on us, we're gonna raise the standard on you. And we're going to require you to have respect for yourself, because guess what? If you have no respect for yourself, that means you don't know how to respect us. And if you don't know how to respect us, guess what? That means that you will not know how to love us properly. You just won't. But we have to get ready to go pay some bills. We'll be back in about 5 minutes with the King's final thoughts, and then we're going to make way for the Coffee and Cream morning show. We'll be right back. The King has spoken.
2.
And we are back. King's Court. We're about to bring it, unfortunately, to a close. This has been a great discussion. Great discussion. I wanted to get into the comments, but for some reason my internet is jacking up. Can you pull them up?
Yep, I sure can. How do I do that? Can you? I have an iPhone. Yes, you can. He's like, lady, be more efficient. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I wasn't on my job, y'all.
Alright, so we got a few of the comments here. Let's see what everybody is talking about before we close out.
Don't mind my messages.
Alright, Taylor Chris, one of the 18 members, says steady growth on both sides. These standards should nurture and develop life and growth therein. I agree with you 100%. 100%. Okay. Rika, as always, she done dropped a couple of things.
We love it. We appreciate it.
A couple of things. She said absolutely correct, because I'm still looking for a few apologies, but I believe I can accept. I'll never get them and try to heal these empty spots within me. For me and my kids, raising them to the best of my ability. And we appreciate you out there doing it. Out there doing that. You can only function and operate with the tools that you actually have. Or not, but ultimately, you have to heal yourself. You have to heal yourself. Or not. I know what it is. I know what it is to be looking for an apology, or to be looking for acceptance from parents or things of that particular nature that doesn't come. That doesn't come. But that does not mean that you can't still have a great relationship with your parents. My relationship with my mom is great right now. She just called me the other day telling me how proud she was of me and things of that particular nature. And really, that's all I really ever wanted. Yes, at some point, there was a point in my life that I did want an apology. But knowing that my mom is proud of me and she appreciates what it is that I'm actually doing, that's better than an apology for me.
King, I'm just gonna say this. Every man, woman, and child wants acceptance from both their parents.
Yes.
Regardless. I don't care what ethnicity, color, black, creed, you're this, you're that, all these different genders popping up, whatever you are. Everybody, that's the beginning of understanding like each other. You know, and you're learning that am I okay? Because acceptance from both your parents is allowing you to feel okay without the rest of the world hitting you and saying you're not, or you are. So, again, if you don't think your presence is needed, it's so false. It's so sad that we have men that don't think they're needed in the homes. Like, okay, so let me tell you something about how men communicate. And I don't know a lot, but I only know this from, we take care of a lot of homeless people around our area. It's all over. So, in doing that, we have conversations all the time with people.
Yeah.
And this is just so significant to me because it stayed in my heart. Because with Prince talking over here to the left of me and sharing his story, it just kind of put some things back in me that I've pushed back because my own story is so similar to his. So I'm gonna make this quick too. I know that's unbelievable, but this homeless guy walks up the other day. You know, we give him some sandwiches or whatever, and he's an African American guy, and he was upset, and I could just see he was upset. He was just like, she doesn't understand me, and I just looked at him. I'm like, okay, here we go. And he's like, no, she just doesn't understand me. And I said, okay, I already know God has this for me, so I said, okay, well, what's going on with you? And so I said, and he just looked. He said, nothing. I'm good, nothing. And I said, listen, is your problem bigger than your God, who you serve, who's higher than you, who you look to? Is it bigger than him? And he said, no. I said, okay, so then let's talk about it. So long story short, he tells me how he's been an alcoholic for about 4 or 5 years. He's been homeless for maybe about a year and a half. He has a wife. His wife is functioning, and he loves her.
This the one that I was there?
Yeah. Oh, King, you was there.
Okay.
You were there. See how God does?
Mm-hmm.
King, so King was there. We took time out. And when we took the time out, he says, so we're talking to the homeless guy, me and King. Yeah, that's wonderful. So he says, we take the time, and he goes, she just don't understand me. We've been married. He said, and man, you know, and so he explains to us how he got to the point of being homeless and being an alcoholic. And it's just sad because he was saying how he was at a club. I'm not going to get everything right because, you know, I'm old and stuff. But he was at a club. His best friend was here, and his other best friend was here. Mm-hmm. And somebody pulled out a gun. Crime. We killed each other. And nobody else got to kill us. We kill each other. Something petty. The guy shoots his best friend. The other best friend tries to do something and gets shot too. So he's witnesses, wasn't that right? Both of his best friends getting killed right in front of him. Cousin. Now, I just lost a son. 2 weeks, my son-in-law, but I say my son because that's how we are in my family. I'm barely functioning. He lost a cousin and a best friend, and he feels like he can't even talk to his wife. Women, we gotta take some responsibility, and I'm only saying that because I'm healing now, in the process of healing, so I see my importance in my family, in my community, in my role. Even though twerking and all of that seems really, and getting that cash and that money, that was me, but it's really not all about the cash and money, because once you get it, trust me, you'll lose a lot in the process. So God just made me stop real quick because I was losing a lot trying to chase this money, and I was, and God is good. And we got a lot of things. My ambition got me far, but you lose so much.
Yeah.
So the importance, again, women, we got to jump in and we got to start with ourselves and accountability. We have to, or this is not even going to work. King, you could be talking all day long, but if you don't have a queen to receive you, what is it going to help? Because I want to twerk instead of work, which is fine, if you can, and I want to prostitute, and I want to show my this, and I want to show my, and I get it on Facebook, and that's all I show, and see how many little kids, boys and girls see that. So, and I'm not saying you can't do it for fun. A lot of us do. Well, I'm not saying not have. I'm saying we're rebuilding our homes. We're rebuilding our own narratives, and in doing that, it's going to be painful. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
I'm starting with myself because I was just crying 20 minutes ago. With me, I had a breakdown. I had to step away, just being honest and real, because that's what life is for me right now.
Yeah.
And then King was like, "All right, come on, boy, put yourself back." So,
all right.
That's where we are.
So, man, it's been
Prince, what about you? That's what I'm saying, King. You, what about perspective? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I know that's right. That's just the best, King. You can't end nothing with nothing better than that.
That's it. So look, I need everybody once again to go like, follow, and share the Frequency CO. We got a lot of big things on the horizon. I can't wait to see how everything unfolds or whatnot. Can I Be the Man? Letter from Us to You is out on all platforms now. We talking about book, ebook, as well as audio. Go out there.
3 million views yesterday.
Yes,
Hey, that's what I'm
3
talking about.
million.
So we got some fun stuff coming
Yep,
this year.
and they re-airing it next Wednesday, prime time again.
So please watch. We'll get the numbers, the call numbers, so you know where to watch it at prime time.
Definitely will. All the stuff that's going on, locking it, tap in. As Queen would say,
Yes,
tap
I
in.
do. Tap in. Get in.
A lot of big things coming. I can't wait. ATL, here we come.
Oh, I know they're not even ready. Well, they so ready for us. It's not even funny. You have a lot of large Muslim community. Shout out to my Muslim community in Atlanta too, because we're gonna be reaching out to them. Maybe going into the masjids, because it's so funny. Because as a Muslim woman going into this, even though my religion is my dynamic, you know what I'm saying? Other people's have different dynamics, but it still fits.
Yep.
Because polygamy is needed in the communities. I know it's pain. I know, ladies. But we're going to end on that because it's going to stir something else back up.
Yeah, we're going to end right there. Hey, look, it's been great. We'll be back at it next Tuesday, 8 o'clock sharp. I got to make room for the Coffee and Cream morning show coming up next. The King has spoken. We are officially out. Court is out of session. Yeah.